Hey, what's happening, guys? What's going on YouTube? You guys have tuned into Rules for Rebels, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about creating Shopify product pages and product descriptions that are actually going to convert, that are actually going to sell. It is Sunday morning, so I figure you guys can kind of join me for my morning coffee, and I'll kind of take you through this. So here's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. My buddy Jerrod Harlan, very successful copywriter and a good friend of mine, was kind enough to put together a little kind of quick guide here about persuasive writing, and he included an example of a company who's selling $99 t-shirts kind of entirely off of like the image or the brand image, the lifestyle that this clothing brand is selling. So we're going to be going over Jerrod's little foreword he put together here for me. For those of you guys who don't know Jerrod, I did an interview with him probably back around January of last year. And I will link to that down in the description box below if you guys want to check it out. It was really interesting, really informative. I think we touched on a lot more stuff having to do with like having a career as a copywriter, as opposed to actually like tactics for copywriting. But we did get into like persuasive writing and effective copywriting and things like that as well. So if this is something you're interested in, that would be a good video for you to watch. And again, I'll put it down below. I'm also going to be taking you guys through kind of the elements of a Shopify product page. So that's like photos, the product title, the description. We're going to talk about meta titles and metadata. And then lastly, I wanted to talk about like some of the apps out there. And we're not just talking any old general Shopify app. We're talking about specifically Shopify apps that live on the product page and are going to help convert sales. So things that show reviews of that product on the product page, things that do like a Q&A about a specific product on your product page. We're going to talk about A/B testing, using tools like Hotjar to see where people are looking on your product pages. So we're going to be covering a lot of that stuff. Kind of where all this is coming from, my aim is to provide a ton of value in this video. I did put together a Shopify workshop. I don't want to call it a course. Course to me is dirty, is kind of a dirty word. Here's the problem I see with most courses. 83% of people who buy a course don't wind up finishing it. Why? They try to cover too much information. A lot of times they're very vague and are like basically telling you about what you're trying to do as opposed to how to actually do it. Like, I don't know, just for example, a course on Amazon merch might be like, Amazon merch is a platform whereby you can upload designs that sell. It's very passive. And they're like telling you what I'm like, it's like I didn't need to pay you to tell me what Amazon merch is. I want to know how to do it effectively, and I think that's an area where a lot of courses go wrong. And then also, I think a lot of courses are taught by people who've never actually done what they're teaching about. And I think most courses are overpriced. Paying $500, $1,000, $1,500 for a course when you don't even know who's teaching you or what's contained in the course is kind of crazy. So Jerrod put this together as kind of a foreword for like a little Shopify guide, Shopify product pages guide that I'm putting together. It's $50. It covers a very specific area. It's some big picture stuff as well as more like tactical or method type things that you can actually apply. Very actionable information in here. So I'll link to that down below as well. And I'm actually going to take you through the course. So you'll actually see like what it looks like, what's contained inside. So this is kind of like a sales pitch, but at the same time, I'm going to be providing you guys a ton of value here as well, or at least that's kind of my aim. So one other thing I'd like to say before we kind of get into this. So I was on a Shopify forum or e-commerce forum last night or earlier today, and I saw there was a discussion about using customers' product photos as your Shopify photos. And somebody, a lot of people are into AliExpress dropshipping. I'm not a big fan of it, but whatever. A lot of people are into AliExpress dropshipping. Somebody was asking, like, when the customers put their photos, and for anybody who doesn't shop on AliExpress, if you shop on Amazon, you've probably seen how Amazon customers will take a picture of their product, or if it's a clothing item, they might take a picture of them wearing the product or using the product. And somebody was asking, is it okay for me to use these photos on my website? And there were kind of mixed answers. Some people were like, yeah, and other people were like, well, no, they uploaded that to AliExpress. They didn't give you permission to put it on your Shopify store. And there was one kind of very telling thing in there. I feel like a lot of dropshippers are lazy and are looking for a lazy hustle as opposed to starting a real business. And one guy was like, of course I use them. I'm not about to take 50 pictures. Like, if you can't be bothered to take 50 pictures for your website, you have no business running an e-commerce website, in my opinion, right? So if you are a lazy bum, just turn this video off now, because this is actually going to require work, right? This isn't for the lazy bum dropshippers. This is for people who are actually looking to build a sustainable business, who are actually looking to build a successful Shopify store, and aren't just jumping from winning product to winning product and all this other nonsense, because those people are dependent on ads, and this has a lot to do with SEO. So why are product pages so important? Well, product pages are your salesperson, right? There's no salesperson on an e-commerce shop. So your product page is your chance to sell the product. It's also your chance to inform the buyer about the product. So just for example, if I'm buying a backpack, I might wonder, this laptop I'm recording on, it's a 15.6-inch laptop. You know, a lot of people have 12-inch laptops, 13-inch, 14-inch. One of the things I want to know when I buy a backpack is my full-size 15.6-inch laptop going to fit in this backpack? If that's not answered in the product description, I'm probably going to move on and look for another backpack. I'm probably not even going to waste the time asking you, like, hey, what are the dimensions, or will this, will my laptop fit in this bag? I'm not going to buy. I'm just going to move on to the next backpack that does tell me about it. And so, those are some of the reasons why I think product pages are so important. Also, product pages are landing pages. The conversion rates of somebody who lands on your product page as opposed to somebody who just lands on your home page are going to be astronomically higher. People who land on a specific product page are looking for that specific product, and it's a very targeted person that you can convert into a sale. And I think every aspect of a Shopify store is really important, from your homepage, your About Us page, your shipping policies, your customer service, your marketing, your SEO. All these things come together to kind of build a successful Shopify store. But why I think product pages are so important is if somebody lands on first off, if you have good product pages, your SEO is naturally going to be at least decent, right? And SEO is a big part of driving traffic, which is a big part of having a successful Shopify store or a successful business. So if you've got well-written product pages, that's going to go a long way for SEO in itself. Furthermore, if somebody lands on one of your Shopify product pages through a Google search because of that SEO, and they land on your product page and your product page sells them and answers all the questions that they have, they may click add to cart or buy now and wind up making that purchase without ever seeing your homepage, without ever seeing your About Us page, without ever seeing your shipping policy. So all these other things are important. I'm not encouraging you to have a shitty, homepage or landing page for your Shopify store. But even if you have some stupid hero image that has nothing to do with your website, even if your homepage isn't optimized, even if it's not built like a funnel, a lot of people aren't even going to see that homepage. They're just going to land on this Shopify product page, and they're going to buy because you've sold them through the product page. So that's why I think these are so important. So let's get right on into this. This is a little foreword that my buddy Jerrod put together for me here, and it's titled "The Number One Thing You Need to Know About Persuasive Product Descriptions." He goes on to say, hey there, future e-com store owner. There's a big selling secret very few e-com brands understand. One that could help them set themselves apart from their competition. One that could push an on-the-fence prospect over turning him into a buyer. One that can transform a lackluster conversion rate into a killer take rate. And guess what? You're about to discover the secret in this super short report. I'll give you a hint. It has to do with your product description, but I'm sure you already guessed that from the headline. Now, before I reveal the rest of the product description secret, I want you to imagine this. Imagine you're selling a plain long sleeve t-shirt, like seriously plain black, no wording, no picture, nothing, just like this. What do you think you could sell this t-shirt for? Now, a lot of people, $14.95, $19.95, $10, $20, $24.99. Well, guess what? This shirt is actually selling for $99. Can you believe that? Can you imagine how much money you'd have pouring into your bank account if you could sell plain black shirts for $99? Which begs the question, how can anybody sell this shirt for $99? The answer, the company that sells this plain black shirt is none other than the J. Peterman, and they know the number one way to turn an ordinary low-priced product into a high-ticket clothing investment for wealthy people. So here's their product page for the J. Peterman company. I think that's where Seinfeld got like Elaine's employer, the J. Peterman t-shirt company, or the J. Peterman clothing company. I think this is like kind of the same company that they wrote into the Seinfeld script. I could be wrong about that. Which brings me back to the number one secret for selling your product descriptions. Your product description should create a picture in the buyer's mind. Take a look at what J. Peterman says about his shirt. And I think here's another important piece about product description. So I covered a lot of like the mechanics of Shopify product listings. So I actually give you my template, how I craft product titles, how I craft product descriptions. There's kind of a format or a blueprint for how I do them. And I realized as I was kind of putting together this guide, I didn't go that much into persuasive writing because it's so different from business to business. If you have a product that's actually like useful or I don't know, think about like a toaster oven or a NutriBullet or something like that. There, we're going to want to sell the benefits of the product and kind of the benefits which are results of the features. If you have more of like a lifestyle brand, a lifestyle clothing brand, something like that, it's really going to fall on your back to sell an image because people can get a plain black t-shirt anywhere, right? And people can get a plain black t-shirt a lot cheaper than $99. So you're really selling them on the image or the lifestyle behind this shirt. Whereas if you're selling something that's like actually has more of a purpose, like, I got this, my little man purse here. If you're selling something that has a purpose, like, okay, this can fit it. Excuse me. This can fit. Oh, sorry, guys. This can fit an iPad. This has pen. There's actually like features and benefits of this product. If you're selling like a lifestyle brand thing, you're really going to have to sell that image. And that kind of brings me to another point about selling benefits over features. So I don't think I have a speaker here with me, but I think where a lot of people err is they sell features of a product as opposed to the benefits that those features provide. So I got a Bluetooth speaker. It's waterproof. It floats. I got it at Costco for like $50. And whenever I go, my cousin's got a house on Fox Lake, up, north of Chicago. And I go boating with them a lot. And what's cool about the speaker, it's really loud. It's waterproof. So when it falls off the boat, it's not going to be damaged. It's not going to be ruined. It's actually going to float so you can find it. It's loud enough that even when we're wakeboarding or tubing, you can hear it over the engine. Even when we go to the sandbar and you pull up with a lot of other people and everyone's blasting music and talking and splashing around, we can still hear our music. So feature this product might be like it's 1,000 decibels. I'm not really into speakers, but it's 1,000 decibels. It's waterproof. It floats. Like these are features, but they're not really benefits. I would want to sell the benefits. 1,000 decibels means nothing to me as a buyer, but super loud. You can hear it over the roar of the boat engine when you're out on the lake. Like that's a benefit. That's something that I actually care about as a buyer. The fact that it floats, even if this flips off the boat while you guys are partying and shotgunning beers, it floats so you can pick it back up out of the water. You want to sell the benefits as opposed to the features. But let's move on, which brings me back to your secret for product descriptions. Your product descriptions should create a picture in a buyer's mind. So let's take a look at what Jay Peterman wrote. The sophisticated long sleeve tee. A t-shirt under a sport coat says you're unconventional, laid back, and unpredictable. A loose cannon who might wear high tops to the board meeting. You take off your sport coat, or maybe you're not even wearing a sport coat, and to everyone's surprise, you have something totally relaxed and comfortable, yet somehow just as dressy as a shirt and tie. The sophisticated long sleeve tee, number 5365, semi-worsted cotton silk and cashmere blend, feels exceptional on your skin and even better to those who put their finger on it. Crew neck, 1 cutoffs on sleeves, 2 on a straight hem, comes in classic black and sandstone, the 2 quintessential hues of gentleman wear. Might just become your favorite shirt, imported. So, obviously you're not going to be able to sell a Bella Canva 100% cotton t-shirt for $99 most likely. Like this is a quality item, right? It's what do they say it is? It's cotton, silk, and cashmere blended. So it is a high quality item, but still not a lot of people are going to buy a $99 t-shirt without you actually selling them on the image. And, this kind of like stirs up like kind of a Steve Jobs kind of like image in my mind. Like somebody who sees themselves as unconventional, laid back, I'm unpredictable and crazy. Like they're really going to relate to this and they're going to want to feed into that vision of themselves even more. And they're likely to buy the shirt off of this. Jerrod talks about painting a picture. So he says, talk about painting a picture. You see, most brands would think, okay, it's a black shirt. What more can I say? And this is a struggle that I've had in the past writing product descriptions, especially with like printful t-shirt brands and stuff like that, because I have done some of that stuff as well. And it's kind of like, well, how much can I say about this tee? Like I can describe the design a little bit, but like, can you paint a picture in the buyer's mind? So Jerrod says a whole lot. Because one of the reasons Jay Peterman can sell his shirt at such a high price is because the product description is putting their prospect into an emotional state by painting a picture. The prospect can imagine themselves in the scenario the description is creating. It's taking a commodity purchase and turning it into an emotional purchase. And that's the secret. You need to create a picture and sell your products with emotion. Notice how Jay Peterman still puts all the features of the shirt in the description, but mixes in words like feels exceptional on your skin and even better to those who put their fingers on it. When you learn how to inject emotion into your product descriptions, you're not selling commodities anymore. You're selling a vivid picture of what the prospect can have when they purchase your item. So how do you inject emotion into a product description? Easy. Spend a few minutes and let your imagination run wild. The best question you can ask yourself is, what nostalgic event in your prospect's life can you tie your product into? Write descriptions all of the time for recipes, not really that different, just a different product. And this is a question I always ask myself. Let me share a few descriptions I've written to demonstrate. Butter pecan keto ice cream. This American classic is Old Faithful for cooling down during the dog days of summer. Can't you feel the creamy vanilla melting on your tongue? Enjoy the crunch of the salty pecans that follows while you swing on your grandma's porch. Everything about it screams decadence, but because it's keto, you'll get to enjoy this treat with the same carefree attitude as your inner child. Or buttermilk chicken with mashed cauliflower and green beans. Eat your heart out, Paula Deen. This buttermilk ranch chicken is so Southern home-style comfort food with a keto twist. It'll have you feeling like you've been transported into a small ma and pa diner in the heart of Louisiana. One bite and you'll be happier than a pig in mud. Or almond coconut bliss bites. It's trick or treat and you're staring at the bounty of candy spread across your floor. You grab a certain iconic blue wrapper, tear it open, sink your teeth into it. The chocolate shell is filled with sweet coconut and crunchy almonds. Perfection now. You relive that childhood joy with our copycat almond coconut bliss bites. So it seems like that's trying to be a almond joy. That's one of my favorite candies. See how I always try to get my reader to imagine themselves partaking in the recipe. That's what you need to do for product descriptions you're selling. When you do that, well, you're not competing on price anymore because you'll be in a class of your own. So next time you're writing a product description, ask yourself, how can I make my prospect picture themselves with my product? So that's what Jerrod put together for me. I'm gonna hop in and just kind of take you guys right into the actual guide. So I kind of talk a little bit why product descriptions are so important. I've talked a little bit about how they've been so important to a lot of my success with e-commerce. You know, I feel like that's been played a big role. And then we get into talking about the elements of a product description, which we got the product title. Here I actually went a little bit above and beyond. I think I actually have 5. I got the title, the description, the meta title and meta description, product photos, and then apps that help your product page convert. But here we got the product title. We got product reviews. So that's an app that's going to help this page convert. I think this particular one is using Stamp.io. Stamp.io also has a Q&A feature where people can ask questions about a product. So let's say this were a backpack or a bag, and I wanted to know, will my 15.6-inch full-size laptop fit in the bag? As a customer, I could ask that, and either the brand owner or people who bought that product in the past can answer that question. And as an e-commerce store owner, you can actually look at these questions that are showing up in your product pages, and like, if a lot of people are asking if a full-size laptop will fit in this bag, and that's not a part of my product description, that might be something that I want to add in there. So this is a great way to kind of understand questions that your buyers have, and it's also a great way to answer your buyers' questions. We have variants. You know, there's a lot of different ways to list a product. You could either do individual listings and put your variants individually, or you could actually add them as variants to the same listing. There's kind of pros and cons to both. One of the things I like about having variants in one listing is that that product's going to do a little bit better SEO-wise. We have a subscription service. I believe they're using Recharge. That's a great way to get recurring buyers. It's not going to work for something like backpacks because somebody doesn't need to get a backpack every month. But something like carnitine, which is like a sports nutrition supplement, it helps with like fat burning and it helps with fat burning and like endurance. This is something that people are going to go through every month, and if somebody likes the product, you can get them on a recurring subscription so that you're guaranteed to get a sale out of it every month. We got a product photo. I talk a little bit in this guide about how how to use Hotjar to like actually see where customers are looking and scrolling and clicking on our product pages. But then we also talk about using something like Neat A/B. That's another one of the apps that we talk about. And Neat A/B will help you do A/B testing. So we could try, having just this bottle of L-carnitine, or we could have the bottle of L-carnitine with a shot of it poured standing next to the bottle, so people can actually see like what the serving size is like, what color is it, like how do you actually take it. And we can A/B test these, and we can show the plain bottle to 50% of our traffic, and we can show the bottle with the shot in front to 50% of our traffic, and we can see which one converts better. So we talk a lot about product photos like that. We talk about optimizing your product photos for page speed, which is going to help SEO, as well as optimizing our product photos and having unique photos so that we show up in Google Images. If I'm searching for a backpack, rather than individually going to 100 sites looking at 100 backpacks, a lot of times what I'll do as a shopper is go to Google Images, and I can see everything. And if one of these jumps out at me, okay, then I can look at that one instead of like going to a site, I don't like what they have backing out. Going to another site, I don't like what they have backing out. We talk about a little bit about taking your own product photos as opposed to using manufacturer photos, and you can pick up a cheap light box off of Amazon to do this. I kind of talk about like how I size my photos. I normally put them on a 10 by 10 canvas, square it off, white background, save it, and make sure it's under 100 kilobytes. And that's going to help with SEO. Like I said, we talk about the A/B testing. And then something new that's coming to Shopify in a not too distant future is video. So we talk a little bit. Video's not out yet. That's one other thing. I will continue adding to this guide or this workshop. So when video rolls out, we'll add some stuff about video and put it up. But here's an example of like A/B testing. They're A/B testing like a 360 view or tour of their product versus a video. Let's see, what else do we got here? We talk about Hotjar. This is kind of where we're able to see where people are clicking, what they're looking at. So, and we can also see where people are scrolling. So if 80% of the people don't scroll below the fold, and below the fold refers to, it's kind of like an old newspaper term, but it refers to what you can see on the screen without scrolling down. Now, it's going to be different on mobile than it is going to be on the PC. But if we notice that like 80-90% of people aren't scrolling above the fold, that tells us like we either need to do something to draw them down below the fold, or we need to put all our important info above the fold. So we talk about using Hotjar. One of the important things I kind of talk about is you can't really look to your favorite brands as good examples of like SEO or product descriptions. And here's kind of what I kind of like reference it to, or an example that I give. So you guys ever look at some of the larger YouTubers, whether it be Philip DeFranco or PewDiePie. You ever notice how sometimes PewDiePie's YouTube titles will be like one word? He doesn't bother putting in YouTube video descriptions. He doesn't wind up using tags. Why? Because PewDiePie is famous. He's got 6 million followers, and people are hanging on the edges of their seats waiting for his next video. So he doesn't need to do those things. But if you're a new YouTuber, you absolutely need good titles. You need good thumbnails. You need to use all the tags. You need good video descriptions. So the same thing kind of happens in the world of e-commerce. North Face is a big brand. North Face knows people are going to be looking for this Surge backpack. So they don't put, men's North Face Surge backpack, 16-liter backpack, great for trail hiking, right? They don't put any of that stuff because they don't really need to have as strong SEO. But if we look at Dick's Sporting Goods, Dick's Sporting Goods is just a seller of the brand. They're not actually the brand. Dick's Sporting Goods has the North Face, women, so they're describing the gender that it's for, Surge backpack. Now, they could go even more into more detail and say whether it's a hiking backpack, a school backpack, how many liters a backpack is. So I think they could have done a little bit of a better job here, but I think this kind of illustrates how North Face doesn't have to do as much as Dick's Sporting Goods, and you or I with the store selling backpacks is going to have to go even further than them. Kind of talk about the short titles and no descriptions and things like that. We look at some like real life product descriptions. This one's from a company called Machine Way, and I think this is on a site called Tiger Fitness or Campus Protein, one of those two. But Machine Way, right? We got kind of the maker, the manufacturer. We got what the product is. It's a premium whey protein powder. They don't have the size or anything else, but we're kind of giving real life examples. We give another example of G Fuel. I actually write out a product description the way that I would normally write out a product description. And I think I give an example of G Fuel. I also kind of show you guys how I actually lay out my product descriptions. And so, we got the H2 tag at the top. So our main title is going to be the H1 tag. The first line, we're kind of recapturing our product title and also adding a descriptor. We have H3 tags, bullet points. So I kind of take you guys through a template that you can reuse the same way that I write a lot of my product descriptions. Let's see, what else do we have here? I think all in all, this is about 35 pages. And like I said, I will continue to add to this. I think I talked about metadata. Where's the metadata? Oh, meta titles and metadata. That's what's at the bottom of your Shopify product pages when you're writing them, and that's actually what's going to show up in Google results. Meta titles and meta descriptions don't really play into SEO in the sense that you have to keyword stuff, but what does play into SEO is click-through rating. So for every person who Google shows your search result to who doesn't click, that kind of goes against you. So in your meta titles and meta description, you're going to want to make sure you make it relevant and enticing to the customer, and also try to include some calls to action in there because you want people to click, and the more people click, the better your site's going to do SEO-wise. And then lastly, I talk about some Shopify apps that are going to enhance your product pages. So Buildify is a great one. This is one that's actually going to let you kind of turn your Shopify product pages into a YSIYG, or what you see is what you get type product editor, kind of like a Wix or something like that. Makes it very easy. What's another one? Another one is Stamp.io. This is one of the review ones that we listen to. I think all in all, there's 10, 11, maybe 12 Shopify apps, and I'll continue to add more to this as well, but need AB. So that's kind of what this guide or this workshop covers. Like I said, I wanted to keep it very specific to product pages. I see a lot of people putting out these like all-encompassing guides, and it's just way too much to digest. People are trying to do a million things at once. I think product pages are one of the first things you should be focusing on, and I think it's going to play a big role in your SEO and converting sales. And maybe I'll put out some future information about recapturing abandoned carts, or Facebook ads, or Google Shopping, or whatever else. But the way that I'm putting out this information in kind of an a la carte fashion allows you to kind of consume the information cheaply, and you can either say, like, this is bullshit, I didn't get any value out of this, I'm not going to buy anything else from this guy, or like, I really like that, I'd really love to learn about email marketing or SMS marketing from this guy, because, you know, I like how the information was presented. This gave me everything that I needed, and it was actually something that was actually actionable, and that allowed me to find some success. So I guess without further ado, this is kind of like this is the I'm selling this on Gumroad. Gumroad is like a platform meant to sell digital products. I don't got any ClickBank funnels or anything set up, but this is basically what the course is going to look like. I'll link to it down below. I keep calling it a course. Course is a dirty word to me, but I think you're going to get a lot of value out of this. And at only $50, if you make 2 to 3 sales, you know, I don't know what your margins are, but if you make 2 to 3 sales off of the information that you garner from this, it's going to pay for itself right there. So, again, I'll link to the video with Jerrod down below. Hopefully you guys got some value out of this video, and I'll also link to where you can purchase this course down below as well. And one thing I wanted to add is, again, I'm going to continue adding to this. I'm going to add a video component, and I'll continue putting up some guides around product pages. So once you buy this course, you're going to have a Gumroad account. And once you have a Gumroad account, you'll be able to continue to get updates that I put out about this little workshop here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If so, do me a favor, give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the channel, click that subscribe button down below, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.